Yeah, I mean the whole thing starts, the whole day at Jesus starts with a pre-concert talk in this
Dans la salle Cousteau à côté.
Salle Cousteau.
Oh, okay. I thought
Right.
just before that piece.
I know. I mean,
okay.
I just wanted to say that it starts with this, and that's where Ralitza has made a beautiful edit of all the rehearsals, so that it's really kind of an impression of what our rehearsals were like, and this whole project is like. Now, say a few words about the project in general, because it's a project that has happened in Berlin, that will happen in India, and here it's now in Montreal, and so all these kind of grand things about it, right? And then the piece, then at some point the piece will start. So maybe you want to join me. Maybe I will. We have to discuss this. Maybe I'll call the two of you up and say, yeah, you have a composition there in this. So can you tell us a little bit about your process? I don't know, but we can still discuss the content of this. But there could be something like a very formal, like the kind of talks that happen before concerts.
Okay, but like at one, like or before.
At one, no, at two. That's when it starts.
Mm.
Because we have 2 hours, and this
I see.
performance is not 2 hours long.
Okay.
So.
So it's the
kind
same
of
people. Or
Same people.
Okay. It's not
They
like,
come to the show. There's no pre-concert talk advertised,
Okay.
and that's what happens first.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. That would be-
So is Régent Bocage animating the thing, or
No, no, Emmanuel wanted to, and I said we don't have it, so she's not going to do it.
Okay.
I'll be animating it.
Okay.
Because I'm outside, I'm not in the performance anyway,
Yeah,
so
okay.
Okay.
I'm kind of the presenter.
Je pense que Régent est un peu perplexe. Yeah, je réagis sur la composition.
Okay, and then after that talk is like.
After the talk,
piece
I'll say,
one,
so
two,
now,
three, four.
please, now we'll move on into the
Okay.
main hall.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the calls start, the auction calls start. And we move on. So at some point, if I can just recapitulate what I understand now, at some point during Deborah's talk, you will intervene and tell or reenact what I like reenaction more. Reenact this phone call that you gave to Deborah, that we had this great idea of registering you, and then telling how you registered her as a piece. And that's an interlude. And then she goes on with talking about something else. Because it has to be totally absurd, otherwise it doesn't work. It's be like this strange interlude that you now introduce this idea that Deborah is a composition by you, and then she continues. She has to continue, otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So you continue with your, as if nothing had happened, basically, because it's a different time zone in which everything else happens. And then at the end, there is, as far as I understand, how did we say that the translation start? Do you repeat anything? No, you just go on talking.
I just go on talking.
And at some point,
At some point,
Je commence à ce moment-là.
she starts to
Je vais
translate
commencer
over me.
par-dessus elle.
At
Je
which
vais
point
commencer à
I
expliquer,
continue
qu'elle
talking
continue à
relentlessly.
parler, puis
And
là,
at
je
a
vais
certain
commencer
point, you
tranquillement
begin to
à-
pick up. I think
à
further down,
continuer,
you
puis
begin to
un
pick
petit
up
peu
some of the
loin,
phrases
c'est là
and
qu'à
then
ce
use them
moment-là, la
to
pièce va
repeat
commencer,
and use them as
ça
they
va commencer, ça va
jump
commencer,
off.
ça va être comme c'est ce qui va nous servir à faire aussi.
And
Okay.
are other people gonna join, because we were doing these multiple translations?
yeah, I think too, yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun.
With like actual words or with?
Yeah, with words.
Instruments?
In the beginning of
Yeah,
words and then with
with
the
words.
music.
Oh, okay.
And
So.
maybe it should be some content, some trigger content that you're going to talk about. You know, when you say, when talk is almost finished, and say, by the way, I also wanted to tell you about this, and that would be the cue for them to start.
Okay, yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then
Oh,
a
yeah.
cue would be
A
nice.
content cue.
Yeah, a content cue would be
Not, you
nice.
don't have to know what you're going to say, it's just that when you begin talking about this matter, that's when they know when to start.
Okay.
And do we enter gradually,
I think so, yeah,
starting with
gradually, yeah.
Marianic and then other people?
We're supposed to pick up a scherzo tempo or G tempo.
Yeah.
And you're gonna give it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
After
I'm
the-
going to extract it from whatever you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we start without rhythm and eventually it gets pulsed or rhythmical or something like that.
Yeah.
How does the 20-minute thing come into play now in that?
No, she takes 20 minutes, her intervention takes 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that would be sort of from the end of, and the timing can start from the end of the glacier piece.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
where, because that ends in a moment of silence. So,
Could there be?
Maybe there could be a composer giving and then your piece starts and at the end, you know, after 20
oh,
minutes,
so
the
that you
composer will
would
cadence.
almost like
Yeah.
composer or conductor?
Well, whatever.
I think if the glacier piece ends in silence,
Mhm.
that's how movements end in
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
So no one needs to say the next movement. You will have your
Exactly. If
pupitre
it-
or something like that, which we will find. I'm sure they have something at Jesu, right? They have some kind of pupitre or some kind of
Yeah, they-
lectern or something.
for lectures, yeah,
speakers.
yeah, they do.
And I would look for that.
Okay.
You know, let's look for that on Mondays if they
Yeah.
have it, and then
Just-
just, that's your place where you go to
Yeah,
deliver your
that makes
lecture.
good sense. And the
And
TV
you
would
just,
be,
you
the
just
TV
take your score and step up and
The
open the
TV
score.
would be beside or?
The TV will be next to it, and then you give your talk and everything, and that goes on until the phone call or whatever it happens, the intervention happens by the two of you. And then you continue, and then you give us a trigger with something that you talk about, some subject that is new,
Mhm.
and that's the trigger for Marianic and
And that would be the
Gabrielle.
good, so that would happen maybe at
In 20 minutes.
minute, well, 18 or something like that, so you
Because
have
it
to
would
miss that.
be by the time that I could, you know, it's gonna take a minute, get to the lectern, set up, make sure that the title page comes up, let people digest. And then I would start to talk.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
The folk, you always said folk, right?
Folk.
Hey, folk.
Hey, folk. So I have, and the way that, you know, the way that I had written is obviously different than I would write the talk. One of the things in doing it is I realized I'm going backwards, in a sense, in time, temporally. So talking about the bees and within the bee talk, start to tie it into the glacier talk, where that came from, and then going backwards,
Mhm.
tying it into the bird song, tying it into the cow culture, and just,
Exactly, and when you talk about registering your herd, that's when the phone call comes, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And we can have again, like a cue for that. My ringtone is absurd.
Ooh.
No, it's, actually the ringtone, I don't know if I can, we may have a band.
That was so fast.
No, we'll just keep
Yeah,
saying.
I
Fast
just keep
projects.
track. Oh, well, maybe I should
Can you
ask
talk
them
about
that.
band?
Um,
Vivici.
Avertissement.
I see that. I'm just gonna see if you.
Yeah, I was gonna.
We can just call you.
Yeah, you could just call me now and you could hear the
Who will
ring.
get
You called me this year.
Oh, wait,
No,
I
I
have to
thought
actually
from
put the
Messenger.
ringtone
I
up,
don't have
just a
it.
moment.
What's your number? Oh, you have it?
5.4. Oh, wait, let me take it off silent. Oop, there's an incoming call. You'll have to do it again. Let me just turn it up. Okay. So,
Very nice.
are people okay with me leaving it? Just wanna check.
Yeah.
So that's my ringtone.
Great.
But I guess I can't call you.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, I will need your number. I'll
Oh,
write
just,
it
it'd
down.
just be like a teleconference.
If you don't have
Yeah.
any other calls during the performance.
Oh, okay.
Can you call both of us? At the same
Let's
time?
try it. We're here to rehearse, right?
Rehearse your phone technique.
If we're gonna do a conference call, we have to have hold music.
Okay, maybe answer, and then I'll see if I can add.
Hello.
Yeah, whatever. Wait, let me get Terry on the line, because she's in partie intégrante.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
are you all there?
No, but it doesn't matter because as long as we're in the same room, it's all good.
Oh, I can fusion. Oh no, I have to fusion.
No,
Fusion.
Is everyone fused?
Yes,
Yes.
and there's an echo.
Okay. Well, we'll figure.
All right, anyhow, that works.
That works.
I don't even know what my ringtone is.
But I think I should, maybe we start a conversation, kind of even as she's talking, like a disturbance, and then let's add Deborah, because I think she, or we could be worried about the performance, I don't know. We'll be like, it's not gonna be long
Well, actually,
enough. We
you
should-
called to ask me for permission.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Her tempo's too fast, it won't last 20 minutes. Slow down.
I don't know, I'm a little hesitant to do this, because either we're doing a performance or we're doing a spoof of a performance, but
Yeah.
we can't do both at the same time.
So it'd just be a phone call.
It would just be a phone call.
But I think we have to already be on the same line.
Okay.
Because that's how it happened also.
Mhm.
So it's like, we can do it incognito too, like we can just be on the phone. And you could be the only one on speakerphone. And we would, like the phone that you'd hear our voices and coming out of there, but we would just be normal, so
Okay.
audience might hear just,
So you'll call me first?
yeah,
Let's try that.
okay.
I've turned my ringer on. Who knows what it is? Scary, embarrassing.
Hey, I think we should ask Deborah for permission to, have her be a piece of ours. So I'm gonna call her up.
Okay, I'm gonna check the SOCAN rules.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, it's Gabriel. Let me just add you, I just need to add Terry real quick, just a second. Hello? Terry, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. So, we're on the SoCal website and we want to register you as a piece. On veut te enregistrer. Oh, yeah, I should do it in French, but that's the idea. Are we doing this? Or?
Yeah, but
I need a script.
remember, Deborah didn't know anything about it
Oh, yeah.
at that point, so you have to explain to her,
A little
the
bit,
whole
yes.
thing.
Ok. Tu sais comment tu as enregistré tes vaches au registre des troupeaux du Québec? On a eu l'idée que tu sois une composition licenciée, je sais pas les mots en français, à la SOCAN. Ha ha ha.
You seemed much more enthusiastic, I remember.
I probably was a lot more enthusiastic. I actually am not sure I like the speaker for listening to this. How do you guys find it?
Well, if it's no I'm gonna hang up. If there's no speaker, then
You might as well not
we might as well not do
That's
it.
true, okay.
But I mean,
So-
I'm
But if
okay
it's-
with that.
If it's just signaling, then it's
But
just
then-
important that her phone
But maybe
rings.
everybody should have a speaker on, because it will create a very strange sonic atmosphere.
Yeah, it's
Of
kind of,
echoes, if everybody has their speaker on.
yeah, if it's just, like, it's kind of
But
weird,
then we
because if
have
it's
to have it.
just us having I guess my question is, and maybe this is for me listening, if it was more people, if everybody had their speaker, if everybody was in on it, then it feels somehow less spoofy than, do you know what I mean?
It could,
You
it
mean
could
all the
literally,
three of you?
it could literally be a sound installation. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you could be around the audience, and, because if there's a delay with Gabriel standing directly next to you, then he might as well be standing 20 feet away from you and
Yeah.
actually take advantage of the fact that there's gonna be this thing that's
Yeah.
bouncing up to outer space and back. So I feel like if there are three of you, at least three of you, and if somehow the rest of us were also in on it somehow, I don't know how that stuff works, but just, it could be this like ping pong thing that immediately turns it into, and then you wouldn't have to do anything, then you could just have the conversation
Have
you
the
had
conversation
instead of
without-
acting.
yeah.
Instead of, then the script kind of just takes care of itself, because the thing that's happening is already so interesting, but if you, I feel like if we're, trying to find this like in-between meta stuff, then it's
Then it-
difficult, but the sound, I mean, now it was very interesting.
The sound is
Yeah.
interesting, but it's like, if we can take the sound from it, I guess that's what I'm thinking, is if we can take this weird sound and turn it into something rather than it just being sort of the three of us talking in some way, then it turns it into something, it makes it more performative and part of the performance. Somehow, I for a moment, it's like, you don't wanna feel like you're knocked out of it. I don't know if that's making any,
No, I don't understand what you're saying. How?
how could we,
No, I mean, I think it's a strong, I don't think that we don't need a script. I mean, it's one of the experiences of many playback theater groups, which this is. It's a kind of reenacting an experience, that in order to get something that works as a playback theater, you need to script it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you need to know
Yeah.
exactly what you're going to say, not word by word, but
But-
the sequence of things that you're going to say.
Exactly. 'Cause
Um,
Maybe I should call you, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
And can you then add Deborah to our call?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Are you still?
Yeah.
On the very theatrical level, though, it would be the most effective thing would be that the first thing that we know of any of this happening is that her phone rings.
Right.
Yeah.
On a theatrical level, that's the most effective thing.
Yeah.
Because if there's already something going on between you
Yeah.
and then her phone rings, it's too late.
Yeah, and it's the perspective of Deborah,
Yeah.
like she
Mhm.
wouldn't have heard everything
Yeah.
before.
Right.
And so we just need to be
Okay,
like,
yeah, that actually
I-
makes,
we need to.
I don't see why you have to have two phones. Why not just you're standing together
Mm-hmm.
and you just, I mean, you're not actually at your house and you're not at your house, so.
That's true.
Hey
that
Deborah, I'm
seems
here with
vague.
Terry, we just wanted,
Yeah, I'm
we
here
were
with
talking
Terry.
and,
Mhm.
And you're both there and then all that takes is one call, cause
Yeah.
it's the.
Yeah.
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 So it's a little too complex.
Get rid of the step.
Well, if we do use the playback of it, then it would kind of be like a sharing. We
Yeah.
need to share,
Yeah, but you would just.
You
talk
can
to
just
it.
hold it and
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
equal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And then
you
they
have it,
both bounce
I think
off.
if both have it on, that's better. So we hear the actual phone conversation, and yeah, I agree, just the two of you being next to each other
Yeah.
is enough.
and then we just need to script like we just use the form as a score, like
Mhm.
for like premise, then title, do you have other names? We thought unclassified, that's perfect, blah, blah, blah. We just need to,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, I can do that, or we can do.
yeah,
minutes.
actually, that makes sense to score it off the
Off the-
form.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that was in essence what you first called.
We had we could even see, the slides on your TV could become screen caps of the website, maybe.
That would be good,
Yeah.
actually. That would be.
But then that would sound, that makes it look very pre-prepared.
Well, it's a performance it's a reenactment.
It's a
like-
composition.
And there's ways that it could also not be screen capture, but with Paul, remember when we did these Google Maps things, like he has a thing on his computer where it films your screen, so it could be like, you could see the action of
Mhm.
typing
Filling
the
it
thing.
in,
So we
oh,
could do a
yeah.
mock-up of
Oh.
filling
Oh,
the
yeah, you
form.
could just make a video of your.
Yeah, video
Yeah.
capture
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
screen.
Yeah, but it would be like, it wouldn't be like, anyways. it's
Yeah,
technical
right,
Yeah,
thing.
no.
yeah.
But
yeah.
it would just be a mirror
Yeah.
of
Totally.
the screen, so that way it's dynamic
Screen
and
capture.
it goes with the conversation. It's not so.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Or we have a mirror screen, like we could also type it live and have it be seen.
I think if it is where you two are together, and
Yeah.
instead of hearing the preamble, because it'll be discussed in, and I guess this is the part where I'm sort of getting lost in it. If we're discussing it before any of the performances,
Yeah.
right, like in the
Mhm.
conversation before, then having it as a movement, it's in the program.
Yeah.
It's all of that. So if we, go with title, continue, and then when it gets to that point, where is essentially, it would be my phone rings is the cue
Yeah.
to segue into that. I like the idea of the video there, showing the text as it fills in. That, there's something about that I actually
Mhm.
really,
I could make that screen capture as well.
So that would mean though that we need a video splitter or a mixer.
No, I can just,
No.
I'll just record it ahead of time and then give it to her as a video file that she can just play.
yeah,
That's even more
I
interesting.
can,
Presentation.
just do
Okay.
the keep it simple thing and integrate it into a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think PowerPoint would be good.
But
Because then
also,
I'll
like-
just do everything on a PowerPoint.
The really simple thing also is if the TV screen is plugged to your computer, as it would be in like any lecture thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yeah, exactly.
USB. Then it's just like minimize, take out the browser.
Yes,
and
but
we
then
actually-
It's gonna
then it's
take
her
longer.
computer, then it's her computer, not yours.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, it matters, these things do
Yeah,
matter.
but
And
it
what
matters,
if-
but I
what if
think
the
it's
internet
interesting
isn't
too.
working and,
Yeah.
having to log into the site, it all takes time, so if we just make a video
build
of that, a
Yeah,
screen
it's
capture.
just
it's-
time, we need to time our speech to whatever happens, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
It needs to be really more rehearsed, whereas if we're doing it live, then it's like performative and more.
I guess that's true. It depends how timed how real you want it to seem. I mean,
Yeah.
none of us is at a computer. They'll know that it's a pre-recorded
Yeah.
thing.
It wouldn't be that much, yeah, it would just be made with more care and maybe we'd do it together to be
Yeah.
like,
My impression of this is that the thing with the echo is that all of this going on is extremely disorienting because of the echo. So it's not just going to be a conversation, that you do have this echo.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not talking about that, but that it could be something that how does this end and where, like what's the
Yeah,
point and where does it go and how do you make a piece out of it that you can involve the musician, like that the people who are not speaking could also be on another thing that or echoing something or playing, doing a whole piece off your ringtone, just the open fifth or something. I don't know, just what, like it's all complicated, but it could all be groovy if it just, there's like something that it, I don't know, just like we use that disorienting
Well,
thing of the
here's the
echo.
question actually that I had about the composition known as Deborah Carruthers. Because it's, as with most structured improvisations, it can change, right? And so, and it can also be variable as to the number of people involved. So, my only thing with doing it, as completely as a talk, is that I feel like I'm wasting an opportunity to use you guys. How do you guys feel as the composers of Deborah Carruthers? Like, how would you feel about an improvisation which, as the talk goes, could include sonic elements? Which is something I wanted to sort of, that's in my notes to me is something I wanted to throw out. Well,
I think
you
for me it
actually
depends
agree.
of the structure in terms of time, like, when we come in, what's the timing, Mark? Was like, I
Yeah.
think if you talk lecture style for 4 minutes, it's fine, but if it would be 10, then maybe it's interesting to have it filled with other elements.
Well, this is my question to you guys, because, like, I have a talk that on the initial timings that you had, Sandy could put 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I sort of, in my head, went, okay, so let's talk about 2 minutes for setup, and then it's done in this lecture format. So, I mean, I can do it. But if I were gonna do it that long, it's not really, although some elements of the talk could be interesting for people, it's also, is there a way of involving sort of the sonic elements in it?
Well, I think this is when the meta and the pragmatic kind of meet. I think we have to compose the piece, Terry and I. Like, it's 20 minutes, we know
Mhm.
the elements, and we come back with the proposition, you know? Like,
Because
3
it is-
minutes of
because it
talking
is a
about.
structured- yeah.
And then because we could, we need to place things in time, and that's technically our role if we're gonna get paid for it, you know?
Maybe
I
there's
don't
something
know.
about your piece for, was it Vancouver?
Mhm.
With the polls, and people were responding to what they
Mhm.
see. Maybe your putting the art on the screen can be the impetus for the response musically, because that's the influence of your previous
Mhm.
art on this moment. So you talk, but then when you put something, there's something musical that happens when we see your artistic example, or you hold up the cow or whatever.
Because I can certainly do, in terms of timing, once you determine what the timing is, I can certainly do an image PowerPoint that I could send out to everyone, that they could have the opportunity to see what images they would be responding to and thinking about that. It's a thought.
There's an old story about German composer Max Reger. And he was composing, and in the living room, and next to the living room there was a kind of coffee party that his wife held with people from the local area, and he was just off in his room composing, and suddenly they all heard him cry out, "The trumpet hasn't played anything for 20 pages, the sluggard, I'll give him something to do." So that's kind of what you did right now. So